Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and today Dead by Daylight tweeted out their February developer update. So let's check out what's in store for this next chapter. So while the developer update doesn't contain any information about chapter 15 yet, I'm still hoping that we might get another trailer later today. If not today, certainly it'll be tomorrow because the public test build is supposed to be tomorrow. But there are a lot of changes coming to the game, so let's check out this blog post. It's very important stuff here. So we click on the link here and it takes us to developer update February 2020 as prepared by Peanuts, the community manager. And it says here, the first developer update of the new year is here. In this series of blog posts, we take a look at some upcoming changes and improvements making their way into Dead by Daylight, as well as our progress on any pressing issues. This time around, we'll be revealing the changes coming to toolboxes and items, changes to a pair of killers, and a new game-changing feature. Matchmaking. We're working on a brand new matchmaking and ranking system. In case you missed it, you can read up on the full details here. I made a previous video about this. This is talking about the new MMR system that they're going to introduce, which is going to be an invisible value that is applied to every person playing the game, and the game will try to predict the outcome of your success in that game and adjust your rating accordingly based on whether they thought you should have won or lost that match. We'll see how that works out. Toolbox repair changes. Toolboxes have been on our to-do list for a while now. While they aren't always a game changer on their own, they can quickly become problematic when multiple survivors choose to bring one into a trial. Since repairing generators is the survivor's main objective, we want to make sure that they cannot speed up their repairs too much. This is something we've kept in mind with perks, which is why so few perks affect repair speed. Toolboxes were an outlier in that they could be used to considerably speed up your repairs across multiple generators, shaving off a lot of repair time. Can't argue with any of that. To balance this, we are drastically lowering the number of charges that toolboxes have, but increasing their repair speed to compensate. This way, you'll be able to repair a small portion of a generator very quickly, but your toolbox will run out much sooner. This change has two large benefits. Toolboxes have a much lower impact on the match and can no longer be used the whole time you repair. The amount of time saved with the toolbox is much lower overall. And there's more strategy involved in when you should use your toolbox. For example, do you use it right away and risk being interrupted before you can finish the generator? Or do you save it for a moment where the killer is heading your way and the generator is almost done? This is very interesting. Like, if you want to take the risk of using your toolbox only to have all of that progress kicked away by a pop goes the weasel, maybe you're going to see a lot of late game play with toolboxes. Toolboxes have also had their add-ons reviewed to go in line with these changes. Now we have some Sabotage changes. We made changes to Sabotage as well to go along with the updated toolboxes. There's a few things we'd like to address with the current Sabotage mechanic. One, Sabotage takes a lot of time and coordination to pull off, making them very difficult and unreliable. And two, if a coordinated team pulls it off, the killer is forced to slug the survivors since they cannot make it to a hook. And if the survivors are using Unbreakable or No Mither, it can be pretty unfair to the killer. So to make Sabotage more interesting and accessible, we've made the following changes. Sabotaging now takes only a few seconds, but progress resets if you cancel the interaction. So this means you can't go around prepping hooks. The number of hooks that can be sabotaged with a single toolbox is very limited, and sabotage hooks are going to respawn much faster. Hooks can now be sabotaged from any angle, from the front, side, and the back, I would presume. And bear traps can no longer be sabotaged. Trappers rejoice. Between the trapper being able to reset traps on the ground without picking them up, and nobody can sabotage your traps, trappers are getting some pretty good stuff here. The result is a much more dynamic sabotage interaction. Rather than running around getting hooks ready at the start of a match, sabotaging is now something that can be done on the fly. Meanwhile, if the killer reacts quickly, they may be able to take the survivor to a different hook in time or drop the survivor and try again when the hook respawns shortly after. This is a very interesting change. I'm fully on board with this. It's going to make Sabo play a lot. I think you'll see Sabo play a lot more in the game. To match, these changes to Sabotage, we have adjusted the following perks. Saboteur. See the auras of hooks within the killer's carrying range when a survivor is picked up. I have been asking for that for years. Sabotage a hook without the need for a toolbox with a cooldown. Okay, got it. Hangman's trick. Gain a notification when a hook sabotage starts. That's pretty interesting too. And while carrying a survivor, you see the auras of any survivors within a set range of a hook. So then you'll be able to predict if they're going to try and drop that hook on you. This is some interesting changes. I really like what they're doing in this update. And then for breakdown, hooks that are broken with this perk will remain broken for 3 minutes. So I'm presuming that the other broken hooks are going to be respawning much faster than this. The breakdown is going to be king hooks and for longer. Item retention update. With the update to toolboxes and the recent medkit changes in mind, we have made changes to the way items are handled once they're used up. I know y'all are peeking down at the bottom. Don't peek at the bottom yet. We'll get to that part in a minute. Currently, an efficient survivor will keep an eye on their item and stop using it at the last second in order to escape with it and keep it. Since most items are used up very quickly now, we want to avoid awkward situations where you're trying to stop at the last second and accidentally destroy your item. So going forward, items will not be destroyed if all of their charges are used up. Instead, the item will be disabled for the rest of the match, and if you escape with an item with no charges left, it will be added back to your inventory as always, like that. And at the same time, we'll be making it so that any add-ons you equip are consumed after the match, whether you escape with the item or not. Fair. This is in line with the killer add-ons, which are all single use. Ace in the Hole, however, will allow you to keep any add-ons you escape the trial with. That's all very fair stuff there. I like it. New feature! Oh yeah! Breakable walls. Debuting alongside the next chapter, we're pleased to announce a new feature that will allow killers to shape the map as they hunt down survivors. Breakable walls. This mechanic is available to all killers. Breakable walls appear in preset locations, much like pallets. Unlike pallets, a survivor cannot interact with them in any way. The killer, however, can walk up to one of these walls and break it down whenever they like. For now, they'll be exclusive to the upcoming map, where we'll be experimenting with different uses. Breaking some may make a strong window loop weaker, allowing you to catch up much quicker. Others might open up new paths to get around the map faster. We'll be keeping a close eye on how everyone uses them to see what works best before adding them to the existing maps. When breakable walls are added to other maps, they will appear differently to suit the realm theme. Although they may look different from one map to the next, we'll make sure that they are easily recognizable, so it's clear which walls can and can't be broken at a glance. And additionally, any perk or add-on that affects pallet breaking speed will be extended to breakable walls. Killer powers that can break pallets will also be able to break these walls. Very interesting. So, before we get into the killer changes, let's just talk about how we had said that we believed that the change in Ruin was the first step in a multi-step process, and now you're seeing it. You're seeing it where the killers don't have to worry about toolboxes as much because they're going to affect the game less, and this breakable walls feature is going to allow you, presumably, to break open the time waster loops that the killers really hate. Like, imagine if you can go into the silo and open up that loop, and then those ones that take you minutes and minutes to catch a survivor as the generators pop, if you're able to bust that open and cut off that avenue to survivors, I think that we're seeing here the second step in their vision that they had for the game in balancing. I think the killers have to be pretty pleased with this, with the direction they're going in. You agree? Okay, now for the killer changes. With the release of the next chapter, a few existing killers will be receiving some slight changes. For the Doctor, with the update the Doctor received in the last mid-chapter, there are now 2 ways to inflict madness: shock therapy and static blast. To make it clearer what is required to increase a survivor's madness level, we're making the following changes. Madness no longer decays passively over time. Shock therapy will add half of a madness level to any survivor hit, and static blast will add a full madness level to any survivor hit. Overall, the amount of times you need to shock a survivor to increase their madness level should feel roughly the same, since their madness no longer passively decays. Our hope is that this will make it much clearer to both the person playing the doctor and any survivors playing against them exactly what it will take to make them reach the next level of madness. Now, for the plague, we have these changes here. Going forward, the plague will always start with one corrupted fountain. The goals behind this change are very simple. This ensures that the plague is able to use her corrupt purge in any match, even if the survivors opt to not cleanse. Survivors are still able to decide not to cleanse and simply endure her corrupt purge, although they will be taking a huge risk in doing so since they will be injured. And finally, this adds another layer of strategy to playing the plague. You can decide if you want to use your guaranteed fountain right away, help get an early down, or save it for later in the match when the survivors are already broken from your vile purge. And the Trapper. As mentioned above, the Trapper traps will no longer give the survivors an option to sabotage them. And additionally, his traps can now be reset without picking them up first. This option is available whether you're currently holding another trap or not. Excellent. And this concludes the February edition of our developer update. As always, all these changes will be available for testing on the PTB before they go live. And we look forward to hearing what you think about everything we've detailed today. The Dead by Daylight team. So that's it. So the public test build comes out tomorrow, presumably at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Montreal. If you don't know what time that is, just ask your Siri or your Google. Hey Google, when it's 11 a.m. in Montreal, what time is it for me? That's all you got to do. So looking forward to see it tomorrow. And I'm hoping we're going to get a trailer either today or tomorrow, since they're going to be dropping this new chapter content on us. I have one more theory. Gosh, do you really want to hear it? Are we out? We have no lack of theories, right? Like, kudos to Dead by Daylight for sprinkling all of this information here and making all of these different paths that they could be going in, and nobody knows the true answer. I think it's amazing. They did a great job. This is exactly what I would have done if I was working with them, is you give them so many options that nobody knows. There's so much speculation going on. Nobody knows what the real answer is. And it's amazing. I can't wait to find out what it is tomorrow. Oh, and one last late-breaking bit of news here. The dedicated servers and the disconnect penalty system is now live on Xbox. Xbox, you finally get your dedicated servers. So watch your DCs, otherwise you're going to suffer the penalties. I've seen the full range of penalties, and it's not fun if you DC a lot. So be careful out there with that. Oh, and by the way, King, I do believe you lost our bet, sir, because our bet was that this chapter would bring an ability either with the new killer or something for all killers that they would be able to break parts of the environment. And from what I see here, it looks like that's happening. So I do believe, sir, Mr. King, that you have lost our bet, which will require you to record a song about having lost the bet, and you'll have to purchase 5 DLCs for me to give away to my community. And you'll have to do a 12-hour stream. I mean, hey, the 12-hour stream is like, that's a win for you, right? But thanks for trying to win another bet against me, Devin. Maybe next time. Better luck next time. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you in the fog. Bye-bye.